A warm welcome in this shared space. I'm going to talk about an interesting phenomenon that happens for Christian givers. While our mind and body and attention is focused and it's busy caring for others, we're outside of ourselves, we are ignoring many times our inner needs. This is natural. We're actually in the flow, right? Caring for others, being attentive to others, doing our ministry, our vocation. And when that happens, though, if we continue to go without stopping, what happens that our needs go under the radar. And I've noticed that could happen if we just go for several hours, more than a half a day. If we don't pause, then our needs go under the radar. And I have mentioned this in the past, but we have our brain functions. We have what's called a dual processing brain. We have a conscious brain, and then we have a very smooth oiled machine, our subconscious, that takes care of everything else under the radar. Now, if our needs go under the radar for a long time, then our body sensations, our emotional sensations and needs, and our thought and mind needs get kind of mixed up. And this is what I called the inner looping dance. What do I mean by that? It gets into a dance. Have you ever seen a beautiful tango? And while the dancers are moving, all of a sudden it's kind of hard to tell who is moving what. Because especially if they're in a swirl, right? Or ice skaters. And that's a beautiful thing. And our subconscious is meant to do just that. This is where the rituals are beautiful. They just go really and they flow. But when we ignore our needs and we go, this dance becomes out of balance. And then we start misinterpreting our sensations, and then we might reach out for that ice cream when in fact all we need is to be loved, or we're just really tired and we might just need to take a nap. So in this video, I will talk about this phenomenon and I will unpack, and I want us to also think about this beautiful verse from Mark 12:17, when it says, "Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is of God." And I want us to see it in a different way from the inner psychological and spiritual perspective. So, and if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Ioana Popa, and I want to welcome you in the Renewal Nuggets, in this oasis in the midst of action, where I bring short educational briefing and trainings so that you can get glimpses of information and nuggets that could help you sustain your giving as you give for others for the benefit of humanity. And so you can get refueled. So with that, let's dive in. So as mentioned at the beginning, as Christian givers trying to follow Christ and focusing on giving to others, it's very easy to ignore our inner needs. And part of what I'm really passionate about is to support Christian givers with a renewal blueprint, with this sense of how do we regenerate effectively, body, mind, heart, and soul, several times a day. I would say 4 times a day, morning before we hit the floor running, midday, right after we're done with our work, before we reach and reunite with our families or we go home, and before going to bed. And part of this is Renewal Blueprint is this idea that we have to start really paying attention to our needs. Because our brain, it's from decades with working with people, the message gets lost in translation. I see this over and over and over. So what do I mean by that? When our needs are not met at an optimal level and we don't stop often and we just keep going, the emotions are picked up by our subconscious brain. And it's trying its best to really make sense out of this. But because of our old conditionings, things get kind of mixed up and lost in translation. So for example, I give you several here. I might feel really tired, so I might go, and my brain is saying tired, when in fact, all I need is water. But I might not be able to discern that because I'm not used to pausing and reading my needs. Or, for example, how many times we come home, we find ourselves eating junk food or sweets or getting for the ice cream or for chocolate. Oh, this could be in the middle of the day, by the way. And how many of us actually, what we need instead is to be seen and to be appreciated and to be loved. But we label that as, oh, I'm prideful. when in fact it's a natural human need. Here's another example. Coming home, we feel so overloaded in our brain that we're like, we want to disconnect. So what do? We listen to news, we turn to social media, we get more information in. So in an attempt to disconnect, for our brain to find some peace and disconnect, we actually reach out for more information and more news, which is going to get our brain even more overloaded with more ideas. So our subconscious brain is trying really hard, but when we ignore it and we don't pay attention to it, is going to misinterpret our needs. Here's another example. If we reach for coffee, we put our body into the drive, we get an adrenaline rush, we actually feel more energetic, but then our body is going to get even more tired. So then the message is, oh, need more coffee, more tired, more coffee, more tired. So we are really putting our body under stress. So body's needs to rest, to eat properly, to have water, emotional needs to be seen, to be appreciated, to be connected, to love and to be loved. And our mind, interestingly, it has needs as well. Our mind needs might be for information, curiosity, right? Novel stimulation, or it might be needing more positive information or affirmation or inspiration. Sometimes our mind needs to just rest, and it keeps on going very fast because it's trying to metabolize all the information from the day. So it needs to just spin its wheels, so to speak, in order to eventually come down and kind of let go of the day. So our subconscious is trying really hard to do this dance properly. And it's trained to have this flowy rhythm. That's how rituals and habits are working so beautifully. But when we don't pay attention and we don't really take care and help our subconscious with our conscious mind and our full awareness, then the poor subconscious is just going to spin its wheels. One extra layer here. What happens when we get into these activities that we feel like we just cannot stop them, right? So we're not paying attention to our needs. Our needs are kind of masked. Our subconscious is trying really hard to fulfill them, but it's doing its best, but gets lost in translation. Then we get into these activities that sometimes don't end. Then the unwanted consequences is, and this is where I'm so passionate about this, is that not only we get out of balance, but then we have actions that we are not proud of, or we're not finishing the activity when we want to. We're staying too late to finish the shows, or eating too much, or spending too much on the social media, overworking and not paying attention to our families or our needs. And then we start feeling ashamed, bad about ourselves. We start feeling like we're not the right Christians, and we might justify this in ways or another, but ultimately it's going to erode our sense of self-esteem, our sense of integrity. And that's what I'm so passionate about this. So the solution is to really pause, and I encourage you to do that 4 times a day. And either ask yourself, if you're disciplined, you can ask yourself, what are my needs? But I would encourage you to support you to journal. I know sometimes people love to journal, and some people like, journaling. It's so beautiful because you get to see your thoughts reflected on paper. So I encourage you to journal and pause a few times a day and just ask, what are my needs? How am I doing at a body level? What are my needs, emotional needs? What are my needs on a mind level? And keep asking this, because the more you ask, and you don't have to get all the answers right away, but when it's becoming a practice, you will start getting answers. And then you become a scientist for yourself. You're going to get curious, like, oh, my hypothesis is right now, maybe I'm needing water. Well, I'm drinking water and I'm not feeling any better. Well, maybe it's sleep. You know what I mean? You keep trying, and no matter how much trainings I have, because I've been so busy in giving and helping others, I had to learn and take baby steps for myself, right? To develop this sense of, can I really, really read my own needs? So I want to encourage you to do that. It's never too late to start. You don't have to feel bad about it. And I would encourage you to pause a few times a day, start journaling about what your needs are, body, mind, thoughts level, and emotional level, at your heart level. And this is my favorite part, because I not heard anyone talk about this, especially in the Christian world, but I experience our thoughts and our emotions, along with the body, part of the earthly vessel. In other words, our brain is part of our body. So we want to take care of our earthly vessel. So this verse from Mark 12:17, give to Caesar the things that are of Caesar's, and to God the things that are of God's. I really apply it to myself. I'm guiding people to do that, and it's been very helpful. It doesn't mean we're indulging our needs and we're going to just pamper ourselves. It's not about that. But when we take care of our needs on an optimal level and we give to Caesar the things that are of Caesar, we give to the thoughts what the thoughts are needing in order to flourish. We give to our emotions the minimum that's needed in order to flourish. We give to our body the minimum that's needed in order to flourish. Then we can really take care also of spiritual life at peace, in balance, and we can thrive and grow, and we can give to God the things that are God's. So type in the chat, what are your thoughts about this in terms of body needs, thoughts needs, and emotional needs? And if you're interested in working deeper and developing the daily renewal blueprint, in working with me through our program, Growing in Christ, the Team for Our Soul community, or if you're interested in working one-to-one, I have a very comprehensive program. You can, first of all, sign up for the wait list if you're interested in the program, and you can also message me, you can DM me, and I'll send you the information, the application, how to work with me one-to-one. But I will encourage you to find ways to balance yourself, body, mind, heart, and soul. So with that, I thank you for all you do in this world, and I want to send you many blessings and gratitude. And until next time, I say goodbye for now.